You know, as an avid researcher of billionaires, sometimes I have to admit I kind of get celebrity crushes on them. And you know what? I have got a huge celebrity crush on today's billionaire, Sara Blakely. She is absolutely phenomenal. We've actually done a video on her before, but it had so much success, I wanted to have a follow-up email as well. A follow-up video as well on exactly how did Spanx get started, because it really says a lot about her success if we view the steps that it took to get her company that made millions in the first year on business. You know, Sara Blakely, she didn't start out in business. She actually never took a business class in college. She worked for Disney for 3 months as a princess, and she was a business-to-business salesman of fax machines. But at the age of about 25, when she was very successful in her sales career, she realized, oh my gosh, my tights are so uncomfortable. They've got this wristband that is suffocating me, and they have the stockings that go all the way down to my feet, which are so hot in the Florida sun, and she decided that something had to be done. So she thought, if I could have the control top of the tights, but not the bottom of the tights, that would be absolutely perfect, because then I wouldn't have a panty line. So she decided to cut off the bottoms of it. She cut off the bottoms of her tights, and she went to a party so she could wear her favorite pair of white pants without that panty line. But she found that the tights kept rolling up. But she thought, you know what, I think I'm actually really onto something. I think this is a good idea. But she didn't tell anyone about it. She didn't go off and tell her friends and her family. She kept it close. And she just started doing research. She started seeing, you know, what was already in the market, and she found there was nothing in the market similar to what she was doing. So she started cold calling pantyhose companies, saying, hey, I've got this great idea. I'd like you to produce it. And she found something over and over and over again. All these pantyhose companies were run by men, and she was aghast, and she thought, oh my gosh, this is why they're so bloody uncomfortable. This is why they're so uncomfortable. And she decided, okay, I think I'm onto something. Let's start doing a little bit of patent work. And so she decided to patent her product, and she called, and she found out there were no female patent attorneys in her entire state, and she went to patent attorney and found that their fees were about $3,000 to $5,000. And at that time, Sara Blakely only had $5,000 in her bank account. So she thought, well, she could have said that was too hard, she's gonna give up, but she decided not to give up. She actually decided that she was going to create her own patent. So she bought a book very similar to Creating Patents for Dummies, and she wrote her own patent for her product. So that way, when she was addressing people, at least she had the rights on it. And she kept approaching people. She ended up going to North Carolina, where most of the pantyhose companies were, and went over and over again trying to find someone to like her idea, and everyone said, it's a terrible idea. We hate your idea. No one will sell it. But she knew it was a good idea. And so she kept working until she finally found someone who was interested, which is amazing, thinking of how much that took. And then finally, after she found someone who was interested, she did things differently. She decided that her product, instead of being dull gray, beige, or white, she was going to put it in a bright red box so people could really see it. And instead of just having that stick figure woman on the front cover who looked sexy, she decided to put real women on the cover. 3 very different real women on the cover. And in that way differentiating herself. And that's one of the huge keys to success, she said. You have to be able to differentiate yourself. She says, you know, what makes you different? What makes you different from all the competition? She says you should be able to explain why you're different from all your competition in 30 seconds. So think about that. Can you differentiate what you're doing or who you are in 30 seconds? Your elevator speech, you might say. She also said some of the keys to success was keeping her idea a secret until she had really invested in it, until she really felt her heart was in it. Because Many women approached her after she came out with the product and said, you know what, I've been cutting my pantyhose at the thighs for years, and I asked my husband if they thought it would be a good idea, or my girlfriend, and they said, oh, that's not a good idea. So these people felt discouraged before they got started because they had shared their idea too soon. So maybe, is that something that's gotten in your way in the past? Sharing too soon? The last bit of success secret that she shared was the moment you can afford to hire someone who can do your strength, who can do your who can do your weakness. If you find someone at the point in which you can afford it, she said the best point of her career was 2 years into it when she could hire a working CEO who could do everything she was bad at and didn't like to do. So those are your 3 secrets to success. Number 1, be able to differentiate yourself. What makes you different within 30 seconds, being able to explain what makes you different. Number 2, keeping it a secret until your heart is invested in it, until you really are dedicated to going forward with it. And number 3, the moment you can hire someone to do the things you're not good at, to take the plunge. She said if someone can do it 80% as good as you, hire out. Thank you so much for listening today. I look forward to hearing about your stories and telling your success stories as you begin to exceed your Everest.